Welcome to today's episode of David vs. Goliath, a podcast dedicated to helping small businesses leverage technology to not only help them compete against their large competitors, but win. Your host is currently the CEO of Anthem Business Software, a three-time Inc. 500 recipient, and a serial entrepreneur with a passion to help small businesses everywhere find, serve, and keep more customers profitably. Please join me in welcoming your host, Adam DeGraide.
Hey everyone, it's Adam DeGraide from the David vs. Goliath podcast. Obviously remote today, not hanging out in the studio, traveling with the family for the holidays. My kids are actually doing homeschool in the next room over, and I'm drinking out of my Daddy Kloss coffee cup. Doesn't get any better than that this time of year. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. This week we're going to do something a little bit different. I want to do a short. It's going to be a lot shorter. It's going to be a segment that I did in the very first episode of David versus Goliath. So I think it's episode 2 because the first one was an intro. So go back and check it out. It was with Kenneth Tyler Anderson of King 16. We had a very fascinating part of the interview where we discussed geoframing and what it means to geoframe and how powerful it can actually be in your business, and some marketing tips and marketing things to help your small business grow. I thought it was a great segment, so I thought I'd replay it and then come back on afterwards and help you with some ideas of my own. Also, today's episode is brought to you by AutomateMySocial.com, where you can automate 90 to 100% of all your social media and never have to think about it again. A recent client who signed up said that they saved over $48,000 a year. Think about that. By turning on Automate My Social. And the funny thing was, he also said, and my social media manager now, which is the software, doesn't complain and actually enjoys his or her job, which is awesome. So check it out at AutomateMySocial.com. Be sure to visit DavidVSGoliathPodcast.com, where you can subscribe to receive updated information on the actual podcast and apply to be on the podcast. Next week, we'll be back with a long-form interview, but in the interim, enjoy this snippet from Tyler Anderson, and I'll be back afterwards. All right, everyone, we're back. I'm Adam DeGraide. I'm here with Tyler Anderson from King 16. Tyler, you're doing awesome. I think people are really enjoying this. It's great. So we talked a little bit about your plans and goals. We talked a little bit about people and how you find them for these events. And then there's tools that you use for your own business and tools that you use for other people when running their events. I would love our listeners to have a little bit of insight as to what are some of the tools that you use to get your message out at King 16. And then what are some of the tools you use on behalf of your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of, put them in two different boxes, if you will. But on the agency side for King 16, we use a lot of tools. So we have, our social media network is really important to us to be able to feature what we're working on with other brands and clients. And some of these automation systems, like with Anthem software, Planables of the world, Wave apps for invoicing, sometimes these are all pushed together, but the ability for us to be able to broadcast what we're working on is really important. Newsletters going out, social media engagement, et cetera, but also too, just the day-to-day business, right? Be able to send estimates, putting together proposals for brands. We use a lot of, Photoshop and Illustrator.
We do too.
Yeah, exactly. Couple really cool resources that are great for people that aren't, prepared to work in Photoshop and Illustrator, by the way. Canva, CANVA.com is a
very
great
familiar with it. Microsoft Paint. No, I'm just kidding.
MS Paint. Yes. Classic.
I always tell people are like, how do you do all these awesome things? I'm like, Microsoft Paint. It's like the original thing where you drop and drag the little colors in. I'm sorry, keep going.
And you just stay dead serious and just let them wait to speak.
Yeah, Microsoft Paint. Oh, that's very intriguing.
Buy the Pixel.
And Tyler, you run events, and one of the things you were talking about at one specific event, you were talking about the concept of geo-targeting around the event. I don't know if that's something you want to go into now, but I think it would be good to talk about that event and how you were able to geo-target potential customers of this person you were working for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've utilized a technology that allows us to geoframe, which is the technical term. Geoframe buildings.
Okay. You got to put the effect on. Do you have an effect over there you could throw on for that?
Yeah. So let's see here. Give me a second.
No problem. Do it. You got to do it. People are going to love it.
Geoframe.
Exactly.
So this geoframing is pretty cool, right? It's a technology that allows us to, within a square meter, draw out whether that's a polygon or a rectangle, whatever shape we want it to be, to the square meter, a building. And what's great about this is that if you've got location services turned on your phone, which is roughly 94% of cell phones, we don't know anything about you. We don't know your age. We don't know your gender. We don't know your political orientation. We don't really care about that stuff. But what we can say is, hey, on this date, this phone stepped into this building. Well, as you can imagine, if we're producing an event for, let's say, Audi, it's great for us to know, well, they're likely Audi fans, right? Or they're at least interested in the brand.
That's right.
So what's great about that is we can then send those phones ads promoting content for maybe a new car that's being released or a test drive experience that we're building. And again, we know nothing about the person, but regardless if they go to ESPN.com or somewhere else, we can at least disseminate ads just based on the people that were in that building. And so it's a lot different than IP targeting. IP targeting is like, I'm sure you've done this before, Adam, where you're like, hey, we're looking for great new snow boots. And then your Facebook feed is just Eskimo shoes and,
Eskimo shoes, for the love of God and country.
So, you get spammed with that stuff. So this is a little bit more targeted, and it's been really helpful for our brands.
Here's an important message from our corporate sponsor, AutomateMySocial.com.
Do you own a business? Do you have or need a social media presence? If you are like most businesses, you spend either no time or too much time and money on your social media strategy, spending thousands of dollars per month only to get mediocre and inconsistent results. This leads to frustration and, in some cases, sleepless nights. Introducing AutomateMySocial.com. Automate 90% of your social media and never have to think about it again. That's right. Automate your business's social media posting and strategy like forever. Automate the essentials and customize only what's needed. Save time, save money, and get better results with AutomateMySocial.com. Our patent-pending technology gives you the ability to automatically create your social post and distribute them immediately, like in seconds, across all your social media platforms. Stop the madness of paying someone to create, post, and manage your strategy, and let our software do the work, so you don't have to. Oh, and if you're an agency or social media manager, you too can let our software do all the work, and you can get all the credit. It will be our little secret. With AutomateMySocial.com, you can have it all. It's easy to use, never complains, and never asks for time off or more benefits. See this amazing new software application at AutomateMySocial.com. If you own a business or manage client social media and want to save time, energy, money, all while increasing your return on investment, then let's get this party started at AutomateMySocial.com.
And wasn't that an awesome segment with Tyler, learning about geoframing and the fact that there's technologies now that you can actually draw a map in a region and try to actually target it? Earlier in that interview, he also talked about some great tools for design like Canva. One of the things that I've discovered over the last several months in working on my Adam music project is that doing short form videos, doing a long form video, and then breaking it into short form videos for the social media has been incredibly effective and efficient. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short format today, because it's an idea that I've been tinkering with. I have such great interviews, and I feel like sometimes the advice is being lost, and I want to break them into smaller segments like I did here today. Let me know if you like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed this week, and if you got some good tips and tricks out of it. Once again, this is Adam DeGraide, your host of David versus Goliath. Everyone have an awesome day. We'll see you next week.